Clash Artifacts of Chaos is the weirdest game I have played in a long time. The world of Clash is called Cenozoic and is colorful and bizarre. Many times I couldn't resist and had to observe and gather impressions to determine if the creatures that inhabit this world are abstract or just plain ugly. After finishing the game and spending more hours post-game, I still couldn't come up with a conclusion about that point, but I will say that Clash Artifacts of Chaos is a fun game that I highly recommend.
Pseudo, get up.
In this surreal fantasy world, you play as Pseudo. Don't be fooled by his math addict Homer Simpson look, because Pseudo is a well-trained martial artist. One day Pseudo finds a scared boy who just lost his grandfather in a fight and decides to become his protector. The boy possesses powers within himself that some would like to make use of. Gemini, the main villain, for example. In order to defeat her and her bodyguards, Pseudo must collect 4 artifacts scattered around the world. With the press of one button, Pseudo performs a standard attack combo. Dashing into a direction allows you to deliver a powerful counter-attack. Also, special attacks can be added to end your combo strong. In total it seems really basic, but it will bring a lot of possibilities to combine all the attacks with each other. The combination of standard and special attacks and dashing out of it mid-combo is really fun. During your journey, you will eventually find more combat stances and more special abilities. You can equip 3 special attacks and 2 combat stances, which you can switch from any time. The combat stances varies from the flashy kung fu style Shadow, strong-worn handcraft style, to even drunken boxing. In terms of special attacks, you will find a good variation as well, like the Rising Punch, the Spin Kick, or the Multi-Strike. Special attacks and fighting stances can be upgraded by burning figurines you collect while exploring. Landing several attacks will fill up Pseudo's rage meter, and once full, you can switch to first person, dealing increased damage and allowing him to execute a very powerful end of combo special move. In 4 areas to explore, you'll find all kinds of opponents. Some bigger creatures will attack on sight, but others you can challenge them to a duel.
I challenge you.
In this ritual you will play a dice game. First, you send an artifact that will give you a certain bonus if you win. The First Punch artifact, for example, lets you hit your opponent first. The Blood Oath artifact summons your opponent in your next duel as a partner. My favorite is the Humiliation artifact. Like the name mentioned, this artifact will humiliate your opponent by forcing him to wear a fish hat during the fight. The minigame is cool, but be aware that if you lose, you can get a handicap as well. But not all creatures are hostile in the world. You will find also friendly merchants. You can trade your materials you find during your journey for new armor for Pseudo and the boy, dices, and artifacts for the ritual ingredients. After all the fighting, you can take a break in campsites and brew potions by adding ingredients you find or trade it for merchants. Depending on the ingredients, those will give you not only some health back but also power-ups for a small amount of time. Also in the camp, you can assign your level up skill points to your attributes and switch over to nighttime, which will also switch to Pseudo's second wooden form. During nighttime you can take some paths you can't go through in his flesh form since they are blocked by hatches made of thorns. Those paths will lead to good loot, gear for wooden Pseudo, and eventually be able to open up some shortcuts for later. You can switch back to daytime by reaching a camp. If you die during a duel or in general, you will switch to Pseudo's second form and automatic to nighttime and get a chance to get your body back. If you die during nighttime, then it's game over. It is really fun to explore the world of Cenozoic, duel against other creatures and fight to survive, but I have to mention some flaws. Combat is stiff at times, but feels fine to me. It's rather that the game has some technical issues, like enemies sometimes teleporting mid-combat. I got also stuck multiple times in weird positions. Oh my god, don't tell me I'm stuck.
This is a stupid place.
It is a stupid place. Stuck on his ass. Some cutscenes will repeat for no reason if you come back to that specific location. Not sure if the developers will drop another patch, but besides that the game runs pretty good. Also, I will mention 2 personal issues I had. First, while the world is not really massive, it's still very easy to get lost in the game. The game doesn't give you any pointers. I had no clue where to go next, which made me go to the hardest section of the game without even knowing for a couple of hours before I realized, wait, was I traveling in the wrong direction all the time? This is the right way. What the fuck was I doing the last 2 hours? To be fair, the game got a patch with a much improved menu now, But even with the improved map, it is really easy to get lost here. I wish the game had a compass, then you wouldn't have to jump into the menu every 10 seconds to see if you're really walking the right path. And second, I feel that the game could have added some more side activities. For example, in the middle of the map there is this town, but there are, besides the merchants, nobody else there, and it made me think what a waste opportunity this is. Adapts could have added maybe some NPCs, giving you eventually some side quests. Those issues didn't really spoil or ruin my experience. In fact, it was great. The game throws you into this bizarre and weird world with zero info and doesn't even try in the slightest to give you an explanation, but the more you play, the more you just adapt to it. The game's colorful landscapes looks with an interesting hand-drawn style beautiful and even stunning at times. The soundtrack fits into each scene perfectly and hits the sweet spot every time. The story about a kid and its protector is a scenario we have seen many times in video games, and in fact the chemistry between the pseudo and the boy really reminiscent to God of War 2018. You might think if this game might be able to compete with God of War, and I will give you a very short answer to this.
No.
But that doesn't mean that Clash Artifacts of Chaos should be seen as a God of War parody. In fact, the story will lead to a surprisingly beautiful but yet sad ending. This game might not be for everybody, but if you like brawler games or adventure games or just want to experience a beautiful story within a surreal world, Clash Artifacts of Chaos is something you should try out. My final verdict for Clash Artifacts of Chaos is an 8 out of 10. After finishing the game, which took me around 10 hours, Clash will allow you to explore further, to gather fighting stances and abilities you have missed and fight night mode passes you unlock. For $29.99, I highly recommend this game. Thank you for watching my review, and see you.